In our previous lesson, we learnt about the southern plateaus. Southern plateaus are the most stable and the most ancient landforms of the continent of Asia. In this lesson, we will be taking a look at other physical divisions of Asia that are very important. But before we do that, let's recap a fact that we have already looked into. If you remember from the previous lessons on Asia, you will definitely remember that Asia is home to 3 of the world's oldest civilizations. So 3 of the world's oldest civilizations include the Mesopotamian civilization, the Indus Valley civilization, and the Chinese or the Yangtze civilization. So these 3 civilizations are present in the continent of Asia. Now, why do you think all these civilizations established in the continent here in the very first place? Well, the answer to that is the presence of large fertile plains. So the continent of Asia is home to large fertile plains. All these old civilizations established along the banks of some major rivers that drain over the continent of Asia. So these rivers gave rise to alluvial fertile plains. Now what do we mean by alluvial plains? Well, alluvial plains refers to those flat or undulated surfaces of land that has been formed due to the deposition of sediments that are brought down by rivers. So these are called alluvial plains. So even in Asia, we have large extent of fertile alluvial plains, which were the main reason for the establishment or the flourishment of these old civilizations. Now, fertile alluvial plains are a major physical division of the continent of Asia. Now, if we take a look at the southwestern part of the continent of Asia, we'll find that here the area or the region is drained by 2 important rivers, namely River Euphrates and River Tigris. So these 2 are the major rivers that drain over this region and they empty into the Persian Gulf, which is also known as the Arabian Gulf. Now these 2 rivers were the reason why this region is so fertile, because their banks received enough sediments or alluvium from these 2 rivers. So regular flooding along the banks of these 2 rivers gave rise to the opportunity of growing different crops or for cultivation of different crops over the banks of these 2 rivers. So these became a major important factor that led to the flourishment of the region here. Here we have a glimpse of River Tigris and River Euphrates. Now these 2 rivers or the valley of these 2 rivers is often known as the Mesopotamian lowland. Now why do you think so? Well, if you remember from the previous slides, we just mentioned that Asia is home to 3 of the world's oldest civilizations. So, in southwestern part of Asia, one of the earliest human civilization was the Mesopotamian civilization. And the Mesopotamian civilization flourished along the banks of these 2 rivers. So that is why the Tigris-Euphrates Valley is often known as the Mesopotamian lowland. These vast fertile plains are very important for the cultivation of crops for the region where it is present. And eventually over the years, when people started growing cash crops, it also helped in the commercial or the market activity of the region. Now let us look into another important fertile plain of Asia. Let us take a look at the Indo-Gangetic plain. So the Indo-Gangetic plain is a very fertile land and it is often referred to as the northern plains. They are used for growing crops like rice, wheat, millet, maize, jute and many other such crops because of its fertility. Now since the region is flat, it also facilitates the construction of roadways and railways and they are highly or densely populated. So if we take a look at the map of India, we see that this is the expanse of the Indo-Gangetic plain. The Indo-Gangetic plain covers portions of Pakistan, India and Bangladesh. We can see that it is drained by three major rivers: River Indus, River Ganga and River Brahmaputra. So these three rivers along with its tributaries drain the Indo-Gangetic plain. The Indo-Gangetic plain is one of the largest fertile plains of the world and it has a very low elevation. So as I mentioned, the three important rivers that drain over this region are River Indus, River Ganga and River Brahmaputra. And all these rivers have some major tributaries that adds to the fertility of the region. So for River Indus, the major tributaries are Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Beas and Satluj. For Ganga, we have Chambal, Yamuna, Gomti and Kosi. And finally for Brahmaputra, we have Tista, Manas and Lohti. So these are the major tributaries of the three major rivers of the Indo-Gangetic region. Here is a glimpse of River Ganga, River Indus and River Brahmaputra. These not only help in the generation of electricity or hydroelectricity, but they also are important waterways for commercial purposes, and they definitely give rise to fertile alluvial banks that are used for the cultivation of important crops. As I mentioned earlier, crops being rice, millet, maize, jute, etc. Now, on the eastern part of the Asian continent, we have other major rivers that drain over the eastern portion of the country of China. And these rivers are River Huanghe, River Yangtze and River Xiang. These rivers here have also given rise to fertile alluvium plains with huge deposits of alluvium, making it agriculturally rich and also facilitating the cultivation of both cash crops and food crops. Now, out of all the three rivers that drain over the eastern portion of the continent, River Yangtze is the longest river in Asia, right? And over the longest river in Asia, we have one of the largest water projects of the world. Here we are talking about or referring to the Three Gorges Dam. The Three Gorges Dam is one of the largest hydroelectric power stations that is placed over River Yangtze, right? So we just understood that River Yangtze is the longest river in Asia, and over this river we also have one of the largest hydroelectric stations, that is the Three Gorges Dam. So before we proceed with our lesson, could you help me answer this question? Which of the following is the longest river in Asia? Is it River Ganga, River Tigris or River Yangtze? Yes, we just learned that River Yangtze is the longest river in Asia. Now in the eastern portion itself, we also have another important river that plays a key role in the prosperity of the country like Myanmar. Here we are referring to River Irawati. So River Irawati is one of the most important rivers that is present or flows through the country of Myanmar. The delta of River Irawati is used for the cultivation of important crops, and this adds to the economy of a country like Myanmar. So the deposition of sediments by River Irawati, especially over its delta, proves to be very important for the prosperity of the country of Myanmar, both agriculturally and economically. River Irawati plays an important role as one of the most reliable commercial waterways of the country, and so it is often regarded as the lifeline of Myanmar. Other than that, as I mentioned, that the delta of River Irawati is used for the cultivation of various crops. One of the most important crop grown here is rice. So rice cultivation in Myanmar is one of the most important activities of the country, and it has added to the prosperity of the country over the years. Other than that, It is an important commercial waterway, as I mentioned, which helps in the transportation of not only crops but also other commodities and foodstuffs. So here we learnt about the fertile alluvial plains of the continent of Asia. So far we learnt about all the major divisions, but we are left with another major physical division of the continent. Here I am referring to the eastern and southeastern island groups. As you can see here, they are present in the south and southeastern part of the continent away from the mainland, but it also has its own significance. The south and southeastern island group comprises of three major countries or three major groups of island. These include Indonesia, Philippines and Japan. Now all of these, as you can see, are archipelagos. Now what do we mean by archipelagos? Well, an archipelago is a group of islands closely scattered in a body of water and usually an ocean. So, in a huge water body, usually an ocean, when a group of islands are scattered closely, it is often referred to as an archipelago. So, all those islands that are part of the south and southeastern island group are an archipelago. The Indonesian archipelago is the largest archipelago in the world, which means that it is one of the largest island groups of the world. It is believed that Indonesian archipelago comprises of more than 6,000 islands, which is definitely the maximum that you could find in anywhere on the Earth's surface. Now, the Indonesian archipelago comprises of some major islands, which includes Sumatra, Borneo, Sulawesi, Bali and Java. All these, as you can see, are spread across both Indian Ocean and the Pacific Ocean across the equator. Another important island group is the Philippines. The Philippines are right above the Indonesian archipelago. Philippines is another island country, and it is the second largest archipelago in the world after the Indonesian archipelago. Philippines offers history, culture, nature and adventure in spades. It is believed that the country provides coconuts more than any other country in the world, and it is a place of lot of adventure. The region is believed to have more volcanoes than towns. This is how interesting the Philippine archipelago is. Finally, the third island group is Japan. Japan also is an island country, and it is one of the most developed nations of the world. So, despite being an island country, Japan is world's one of the most literate and technically advanced nations. It does not only provide you with unique cuisine and varied culture and tradition, and it also is a place of high intellect. So, the country of Japan is definitely one to make a career out of and a place to have a lot of adventure. The archipelagos in the south and southeastern part of Asia are prone to earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. This is because they fall in the Ring of Fire region. The Ring of Fire is a region or a juncture of major tectonic plates of the earth, due to which it experiences different collisions and movements between the tectonic plates, giving rise to earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. So there we completed our discussion on the major physical division of Asia. So in this lesson, we were able to understand that the continent of Asia comprises of vast fertile lands or fertile alluvial plains that give rise or give opportunity for the cultivation of various crops. They are drained by major rivers which serve as important waterways for commercial purposes, and they also help in the generation of hydroelectricity. We further learned that the south and southeastern part of Asia are one of the most beautiful places that one could visit. They are prone to earthquakes and volcanic eruptions because they are present in a region where there is continuous movement of tectonic plates. So in this lesson, we were able to conclude our discussion on the major physical division of Asia. In our next lesson, we will be taking a look at the climate of Asia and see how Asia provides a diversity in its climatic conditions too. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. You can also register for free at DeltaStep.com or download the DeltaStep app to learn one-to-one with our amazing teachers or to get access to all our 5,000 plus amazing videos as per your school syllabus. Master each topic with our adaptive practice technology. Get million plus questions with step-by-step solutions and unlimited mock test. Get all your doubts resolved instantly. Learn via games and win amazing prizes like PlayStations and iPads. So at DeltaStep, learning is not just fun and easy, it is rewarding too. So register for free now.